Almost every company that we talk with wants to be speaking with director and VP level folks in their sales outreach and their marketing outreach. It's obvious. Obviously, you want to be talking with decision makers. In HR, though, it's a little bit more complicated than that. Most HR departments aren't really large. You take a company with 1,000 employees, they may have 5 to 10 people in HR, and a lot of those are in recruiting versus other functions. And so what we see is that in certain niches within HR, seniority matters a lot more than others. So for example, in recruiting, seniority matters quite a bit. The director and VP of recruiting have a lot of power and have budgets much more than like a talent acquisition manager would or a recruiting manager would. But on the other side, when you look at other functions such as talent management, talent development, learning and development, obviously there's some seniority, right? There's your chief learning officer. In your bigger companies, it'll go down to VPs and directors. But you'll also get titles like organizational development that have a ton of power and have pretty much no seniority. You'll get titles like diversity and inclusion that have a lot of power and now have a lot of budgets and have no seniority at all. And you'll get like leadership development as an example. You'll get titles in leadership development. If you have a manager of leadership development and you're selling leadership solutions, I'd rather talk to that person than I would talk to a director of HR. Or potentially even a VP of HR if the company's big enough and they have the budget. So what we find quite a bit is that when your salespeople are searching for specific titles, whether that's on Sales Navigator or in Talent View or other databases, they limit seniority and they say like director level and above, and it ends up cutting off like 80 to 90% of your market of the people that you actually want to be talking with. And so be really careful with, we only go after directors and we only go after VPs. That's not always the best strategy. A lot of times the best strategies are to start at a lower level, gather a bunch of information. Look, if I'm selling, once again, a leadership development solution, I would rather talk with a manager of leadership development or a talent management consultant or some of those types of things that don't have the normal hierarchy of VP or director. In larger databases, the way that they segment the data is based on what is in their title, and it's really tough to tell what power that person actually has. We all know that CHROs and VPs of HR and those types of things have budgets, but rarely is the entry point into a conversation about your solution starting with the VP of HR. It's usually going to be at a lower level. So really be careful with how you're targeting and how you're thinking about seniority. It doesn't always have to be director and VP level and above. We know that they sign the checks, but they're rarely the entry point to get the conversation started.